In the beginning of the movie, we see the main character of the movie, Clara. When she regained consciousness, she found herself in a strange place. There was something written on the wall in front of her. It was a threat from a killer, in which it was written that who among you and your husband will be killed. Clara knew that he was a serial killer, who was also becoming famous by the name of Calendar Killer. That's why she was very scared. She also heard the sound of the killer behind her, but the killer left without harming her. And after the scene was cut, we were shown a man named Julian. Julian used to work for a call center from home. In this call center, those girls used to call who were in danger. As soon as Julian got a call, the girl told Julian that there are many boys behind him. Julian advised her to come and stand under the street light, from where people can see you easily. And if there is a car standing there, then you raise your hand on it and siren it. According to Julian, the girl did exactly this. And as soon as the car siren went off, all the boys ran away from there because they knew that now the people living here would come out of the house. And so this girl's life was saved from them. As soon as the call was switched off, Julian turned on the TV, where we see that the news was going on about the calendar killer. But he doesn't pay much attention to it because now he had received another call. This call was of Clara, which we have seen in the beginning of the film. Julian asks Clara that, "How can I help you?" In response, Clara says, "You can't help me at all because I want to die myself. There is also a calendar killer behind me who kidnapped me from my room, took me to an unknown place, and threatened to kill me or my husband without coming in front of me." And he didn't believe it. During the call, while listening to Clara, Julian also checks his house and his daughter. From here, the scene is cut and we are shown an unknown old man who has a picture of the threats of the calendar killer in his hand. And it also seems that maybe this is the killer. Anyway, now in the scene, Clara is finally shown who was walking on the road. At this time, Clara was in a bad condition, as if she had run away from a party. While talking to Julian, she said, "I am tired of this life. I want to die." Julian asks her, "Where are you and where is your husband?" In response, Clara tells her, "I am running away from my husband." Julian could not understand her. Then Clara tells her, "Actually, today was our wedding anniversary. Julian took me to a very big restaurant to have dinner. I was very happy, but I was also scared because he gets very angry and he kills me at any time. And if he had killed me in front of everyone, what respect would I have? There I met a friend of mine, from whom his mood got bad. But the surprising thing was that he did not react at all. And after dinner, he took me to a secret floor of the elevator. There was a party of elite class people. Everything was very strange there. Everyone was very close to each other. As soon as I went there, my husband gave me a drink. And as soon as I drank it, I don't know what happened to me. And my body stopped working. I was paralyzed. My husband made fun of me with all his friends. And then he tied me to a table. And everyone refused me. And my husband kept looking quietly because he was getting money in return." Clara tells her, "As soon as my condition got better and my body was able to walk, I ran away from there." Hearing this, Julian was very angry. He knew that in this condition, a girl can even commit suicide. He tells Clara, "Do not do anything that will harm you." But Clara was not going to listen to him. She puts a pipe on the sledge of the car and leaves the pipe inside the car and turns on the engine of the car. She knew that in a while, the smoke would fill the car and she suffocated. She suffocated and died. During this time, Julian's call kept ringing. Julian kept explaining to her, "Do not do this. Get out of the car." But Clara did not listen to him. Before Clara died, she thought of her daughter. She could not leave her daughter with a monster like her husband. So she got out of the car and told Julian, "I did not stop everything, but I thought of my daughter." On the other phone, we see that Julian got a call from his dad. Julian's dad was asking him, "Where are you?" Julian tells him, "I am working at home, but I need your help." His dad gets ready to help him. Julian actually wanted to see Clara's condition at this time. He tells his dad, "I am sending an address. Go there and see if the girl is safe or not." Julian's dad goes there and starts the journey to Clara's house. And we see that Julian's dad is the same person who had the picture of the calendar killer. Clara also came to her house at this time. After coming home, she called Julian again, and Julian asked her, "Why do you all suffer so much?" Clara said. Because we are not financially independent. Our finances are fulfilled by men, and they think that they can do anything for it. And we have to suffer because we have to live with our children. If we get separated from them, their financial condition is good. They will keep our children too, and we will not be able to do anything. Here, Julian also shares his story that his wife, whose mental condition was not good, she cut her hand. But when she was about to die, she came to her senses. She tried to save herself. But then, the lock of the washroom did not open. At this time, Julian was at work. When he reached home, his wife was already dead. He was very sad that day. He was more sad for his children, who were now alone. Julian says that after his wife's death, he is working from home. And he also takes care of the house and children. While talking to Clara, Julian was in the kitchen. Then he noticed that a knife has disappeared in the kitchen. He thought that someone has entered his house. While holding Clara's call, he goes to check the house. On the other hand, strange things were happening in Clara's house. Suddenly his TV turned on by itself, which he closed in fear. When he came to the window, he saw the threat of the slender killer on the window. He took a picture of it and sent it to Julian. Here, Julian, who also thought that someone has entered his house, he put a lot of glass on his main door so that whoever comes in, he hides in his feet. If he doesn't hide, at least with the sound of his breaking, he will know that someone is coming in his house. Here we see that Julian's dad had also reached Clara's house. Clara saw him and thought that he was the killer, because of which she hid. When Clara's dad went inside the house, he did not find anyone, and he called Julian and told him that the girl is not at home and everything is fine here. As soon as he said this, he left. But as soon as the opportunity came, Clara also started running towards the forest. Julian was also constantly talking to Clara. But when Clara ran into the forest, all the signals dropped and she stopped talking to Julian. While running here, Clara's foot slips and she rolls on the road. Fortunately, a car was passing from there and the car driver noticed her, helped her and picked her up and brought her to his car. Clara was scared to see her appearance. He was wearing Santa Claus clothes, but that man assured him that he would not harm Clara. He just saw Clara grown up here and should help her. He wore Santa Claus clothes because he used to make children happy at parties. Hearing this, Clara was a little satisfied and sat in his car. As soon as he left the forest, the signals came again. That's why he called Julian. He said to this man, "Please drop me to the city." And on the phone, he also told Julian that he has found a good man who will drop him to the city. Hearing this, Julian's head started bursting with fear that she was a stupid girl. How was she believing such a man? He explains to her that in such a situation, it is not right to believe any man. But Clara removes all her fears, saying that this man is safe. Now, Clara asks this girl for a cigarette. The boy tells her that he will get all the stuff on the back seat of the car. When Clara went back, she saw that there was a teaser gun here. Seeing this, she got scared. Then the man told her that there is no need to be afraid. I have kept this teaser gun on my security. Taking a breath of happiness, she continued her journey. Clara was still talking to Julian. She told Julian that the Klondikeller is really behind her and her husband does not believe her. Now she said the same thing, that on the other hand, Julian felt that someone has entered his house. Immediately he went and started searching his house again. Suddenly this man stopped the car because there was no one else in front of the car but Clara's husband, who quickly beats the man with Clara out of the car. Seeing this, Clara gets angry and tells her husband that this man is not at fault. He was just helping her. Thanks to Clara, her husband left her. Clara helped that man and somehow made him sit on the driving seat. Now he asked for her teaser gun. This man understood that Clara's husband is a bad person. Without answering any questions, he gave Clara his teaser gun so that she could save her life from her husband. Clara's husband now put Clara in his car. When he asked her husband why she came from the party so early, Clara was very surprised at his selfishness. He said that you should be ashamed. I am your wife. Is your daughter's mother worth going to that disgusting place of mine? She also threatens her husband, who was sitting on the glass of her house. But Martin, Clara's husband, thought that Clara wrote all this. Clara was also trying to call her daughter's babysitter. But strangely, he was not answering the call. I don't know how the whole atmosphere was at home. Now, in anger, Clara tells her husband that you should leave me today. As soon as she heard this, her husband slapped her and grabbed her hair and said, "If you leave me, you will be responsible for your condition." At Julian's house, we see that Julian was still feeling that someone had entered his house. While investigating, when he came to the main door again, the trap he had made for his daughter was stuck in his feet. But now he moved forward and went back to his daughter's room, where his daughter was sleeping peacefully. But in his closet, he found the knife that was missing from the kitchen. It was clear that he had definitely come here. He picked up the knife from the kitchen and hid in the closet to do something bad. As soon as he found out that Julian had found out about entering his house, he left the knife and tried to run away. Julian now carefully goes to check the other room where a man attacked him. But Julian was ready for all this. While saving himself from this attack, he attacked the man's leg with the knife in his hand. The man then removed Julian from himself and quickly came out of the window. While coming out of the balcony, he stood outside the window. He wanted to save his life from here, but Julian knew that if he went from here, he could be killed. Julian now gives him a hand, but this man doesn't take Julian's help and jumps from there. While jumping, we are shown the front of the house. Here is the biggest twist of the story. It is revealed that this house was not of Julian, but of Clara and Martin, in which Julian was present at the time. And if this house was of Clara and Martin, then the daughter sleeping in the house was also Clara's. The man we thought to be the intruder was not an intruder, but Clara's daughter's babysitter, who had found out about Julian's arrival. And he ran to save his life, but his own life was lost. Here we see that as soon as Clara and Martin reached the parking of their house, Clara immediately attacked Martin with an easer gun. Now Clara, unaware of this, has already entered her house. She quickly opens the door and goes inside, and she sees the glass scattered on the main entrance. Actually, Julian had laid it as a trap, so that whenever anyone came in, he would get stuck in the glass and stay here. When she came inside, there were a lot of lights on, and a laptop was also lying there, which was not hers. She did not understand what was happening. As soon as she went to her daughter's room, Julian was sitting inside. Hearing her daughter's voice, Clara understood that this is the same Julian she was talking to. Now, Clara was not so stupid that she could understand that Julian is the killer. She got scared and told Julian, "Please don't do anything to my daughter." Julian tells her, "Don't worry, I won't do anything to her. I had laid all the traps here before you came. I didn't come here to kill you. I came here to help you, so that you can take your husband's life and get yourself free." Here it is shown that after the Easer attack, Martin came back to his senses. He broke the glass of his car and came out of the car. As soon as he entered the house, he saw Julian. He was about to attack Julian, but before that, Julian attacked him. After the scene was cut, we were shown Julian's dad again, who was roaming around this house. When he saw Clara's daughter's babysitter's corpse here, he understood that her son is here and he is killing everyone here. And he found out that when he went to his son's house, he saw a lot of pictures of the Klender killer there. The same threatening pictures that were coming in the news every day. All these pictures being with his daughter was proving that his son is the serial killer. After the scene was cut, we are shown Julian, Martin and Clara again, where Julian has tied them up. He is explaining to Clara, "Why are you so scared? I am helping you. Just kill him and make your life easier." Here, Julian explains why he is the serial killer. Actually, he was a very bad and cruel husband like Martin. He used to torture his wife a lot. And then one day, his wife committed suicide. And that day, he realized how much he tortured his wife and how much he hurt her. Now, he felt the pain of every woman. And now, he changed himself and decided that he will kill all the men who torture their wives. Now, he says to Clara, "You have a chance. Just kill him." Clara loved her husband so much that she could not even think of hurting him. She grabbed the knife, but instead of attacking her husband, she attacked Julian's leg. Julian screamed loudly and she grabbed Clara. Before she killed Clara, she heard a gunshot. and we are shown that Julian was killed. It was not anyone else but Julian's dad who came to save them. Clara and Martin did not consider him a killer. That's why Julian's dad told her that when he went to Julian's house after a long time, he saw a picture of the slander killers there. And when he called Julian and asked him where he was, he lied that he was working at home. So the staff understood that Julian was on his way to another victim. Finally, he saved Julian from 2 murders. Finally, he was saved. Clara hugged her daughter, who was completely safe. Now, we are shown the scene. We know that Martin, Clara's husband, is on a big post. He's a politician. Everyone votes for him. When he was doing a press conference, Clara played an audio. In this audio, it was clear that Martin used to kill his wife and abuse her. As soon as he saw this, his real face came in front of everyone, and in a day, his entire career was ruined. Finally, Clara also took her revenge. Clara's lawyer friend was now fighting her case in which she divorced Martin and demanded her legal needs. Finally, Clara won this case, and finally, she got rid of her toxic husband. In the movie, it was shown that Clara lives a happy life with her daughter. And by showing this, the story ends here.